Welcome to lesson 1.10, the 10th of the lessons in angles and lines. And so here we are talking about alternate exterior angles, and these angles are going to be in reference again to our parallel lines. So let's go ahead and draw some parallel lines on here. So here's one line and here's another line, and they're pretty much parallel. And then as usual, we'll also do a transversal. All right, so these are our choices here, and alternate exterior angles. So let's go ahead and number them. Okay, alternate exterior angles are angles, or a pair of angles. Remember, that's part of the title, angles. A pair of angles that are on the exterior of the parallel lines. So exterior. So previously we've been working with interior, so this is the opposite. So now we're not going to be using this space in here for this part. And on look at that. And on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so let's highlight that last word. So opposite. Or I guess, you know what? That's wrong, isn't it? Let's change that. Let's change that word. Alternate. It's not even the right word. Geez, Mr. Smiley. It means pretty much the same word, though, doesn't it? All right, so we're talking about angles 1 and 8, or angles 2 and 7 in this case. So these are on opposite sides. So if you look at 1 and 8, they're exterior, so they're outside of the parallel lines, and 1 is on the left, 8 is on the right. Same with 2 and 7. They're both exterior from the parallel lines. 2 is on the right, 7 is on the left. All right, so how do we find the measure of a missing angle? Well, alternate interior angles, or exterior angles are congruent. And that's a math word. Sometimes math is like a foreign language, so you got to know some special words. This means they have the same measure. The same measure. So we could write this as angle 1 is congruent to angle 8, as well as angle 2 is congruent to angle 7. Angle 7 looks funny because it's like the same symbol as the 7, or as the angle. So that was how you would write those things down, that those are similar or congruent angles. So let's see how this works. So what is the measure of this angle that is missing? Well, if we look over here, we can see that these are parallel. We can see none of them are inside, so these are exterior. And we can see that there's this one's on the right and this one's on the left, so they are alternate exterior angles. Okay, so that means that they're the same measure, so that means that the missing one is 84 degrees. Okay, quick question here. This one should be easy. And yeah, you should get x equals 68 because, again, not interior, they're exterior. This one's on the left, this one's on the right, so we have congruent angles just like so. So I'm going to ask you a few questions here at the end of this video just to see if you can start to identify what type of angles you're working with, whether they're alternate exterior or interior, and so on. So there's a few questions about that you're going to have to answer, just as kind of a review, to keep those other ones fresh in your mind, because let's be honest, this is pretty easy, right? All you have to do is say this equals that, so not very difficult, and so a lot of them are that way. The most difficult ones are only really figuring out if they equal 90 degrees or 180 degrees. So what is really going to be the challenge is identifying which one you're seeing and then using the right rules for it. So that's going to be here coming up, how we're going to combine all of these together and figure those things out. All right, so answer these questions, and that's it for today.